Fear does not exist in this dojo. Brandon and Skyler enter the ring, or should I say karate mat, as they delve deep into the world of kicking ass or defending their honor. And they're fresh out of honor. Join them as they wax on and wax off and wax nostalgic in an epic struggle of good versus evil in this kung fu martial arts karate kicking episode inside the Video Vault.
Hello!
Howdy, everybody.
Welcome back into
The Video Vault.
We are your hosts.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Skyler.
Yeah.
And we're going to start the show again with some viewer comments from last week. Last week we talked about school media, school-based media. But we still have some comments left over from the first
View. Listen.
Episode, where we asked about a time that you, or a piece of media that you shared with somebody, and you like bonded over, which is sort of like the theme of the whole show, right? So, you know, it's all still relevant. So this one comes from a friend of the show, Brianna, my sister's good friend. Brianna. Hi, Brianna. How are you?
Hey.
She says, one time on vacation, there was a thing in the hotel room where you could pay $20 to play a video game for an hour, and moral of the story is my brother died 6 times trying to get the ocarina in Majora's Mask.
Oof.
Yeah. One time, we did that too. I played Kirby's Dream Course, but I didn't get it. I didn't understand how to play, so I feel like I wasted $20.
I remember playing a really underrated game called Gast.
Gassed?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
It was like a ghost shooter for the GameCube.
Yeah.
It was sick.
I don't remember what that game looks like, but the second you said gassed, it was
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She also says, used to watch Powerpuff Girls and Courage the Cowardly Dog every night with my dad, and we would spoon under his favorite blanket.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a very sweet memory.
I love Courage too.
Yeah, those are the kinds of memories you got to hang on to, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Courage and Powerpuff Girls were definitely like it feels like those are big parts of my personality.
Yeah.
Because I would watch those a lot, and my sister loved Powerpuff Girls, and I loved Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Me too.
So
who doesn't?
I know, yeah. Who doesn't?
Gosh.
Okay, so I guess we'll go through those. So we'll go through the older comments, and I guess in the next one we'll do the school stuff.
Yeah.
So this is from our good friend Duncan. Who messaged us after he listened to the podcast. Thanks for listening, Duncan.
Yeah, thanks, Duncan.
So here we go. Media I bonded over. Spaced with my now wife.
All right.
Spaced is great.
Oh, yeah.
If you've never seen Spaced, you gotta watch Spaced.
It's one of the best ever.
Yeah. We watched the DVDs while we were getting to know each other. Early days in our friendship. Spaced is still an important piece of media for us. We've been married 13 years, so I guess we were watching the DVDs around 2003. Man, I'm getting old. So yeah, I'm sure there are so many shows I could mention, but Spaced is the one.
Oh, that's so rad.
That's great, Duncan.
Oh.
That like makes me so happy
too.
that Spaced was the thing that like that like bonded the two of you guys together. You're awesome, Duncan.
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps like of happiness, man.
I know, yeah.
Such a sweet story.
And because I met Duncan through Edgar Wright too, so like even our friendship with Duncan is based on something that Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg made.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so like it's very much like it's just it feels good, you know, like we're all buddies.
Space totally brought us together too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the guns. That was what we always
we always do the gun bit. Yeah.
Oh, creaky chair again.
Yeah. Oh, creaky chair. Yeah, Spaced is great. We've got like a solid chunk of time for this intro, so I guess I can read a little bit more.
Okay.
I guess I'll read the next one from Duncan because this one was also good. So this was in response to the favorite school media. Afternoon, chaps. Just finished the new episode. Digging it. I feel like I should teach in the U.S. Sounds like a right blag. Duncan, we had to look up the word blag.
Yeah. Let's tell our listeners who don't know what it is either.
And we were like cracking up about it. because I'm not entirely sure how to like contextualize it in the sentence.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to...
It kind of, but it feels like, you know, yeah, I mean, you can kind of just do whatever you want.
Yeah, you guys can look at it.
When you're in a public high school. Anyways, best school-based media. Pff, that's hard. I feel that School of Rock takes some beating. Ooh. Just so uplifting. Plus, I was a relatively new teacher when that came out. Plus, I'd done some sub-teaching work. I connected with JB. Oh, man. Duncan, if you were one of our subs, that would have been the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You would not have been like the other subs that we listed last time. Oh my god. I'm surprised we didn't get more comments about that. Yeah. The subs. Especially from my mom. I feel like my mom would have said something about the subs.
Some subs, yeah.
Yeah. Because that was crazy. And yeah, I feel like School of Rock is like, especially at that time, it's so not... I don't know, it feels like a pretty timeless movie. Like, it doesn't feel like a mid-2000s movie like it is. Because I was, like, watching... someone reposted one of the trailers for Spider-Man. The original, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
And it feels very dated.
It's so dated, man.
Yeah.
And, like, I love those movies.
Yeah.
But the marketing, and even within the movies themselves, there's just this very, like... Because I also really like Sam Raimi, but there's like this edginess to it.
The style, the music.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. And that even kind of carried over into like newer stuff, like the Linkin Park song in the end credits of the first Avengers. I'm always like, this feels so out of place.
I'm glad they cut it there, though.
It feels so weird and out of place. I'm like, why? Like
it's like what I was saying when we were talking about Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
It's like great series, but music sometimes is just so out of place.
Yeah, it's like weird. It's like, why did you pick that?
Time stuff.
Yeah, and it's not
Date
like
stuff. Rather.
Yeah, and it's not like you can't use that stuff effectively, but it just feels like that. It just feels so of a time. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. Right. Like I wouldn't know how to use that effectively.
School of Rock nailed it.
Let's see. Duncan also says California Man is a good shout. Which one's California Man?
I've never seen California Man.
Okay, quickly look it up while I read the rest of his comment. Let's see. Oh, does Grosse Point Blank count?
Oh,
yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Grosse Point Blank is freaking awesome.
With an incredible soundtrack,
oh my god. Speaking of soundtracks, the soundtrack to Grosse Point Blank is awesome. It's incredible.
Does he mean Encino Man? Or California Man? Do they call it California Man?
Is California Man in the UK?
Perhaps
is that Encino
Man? That's
a good question. Google if that's the title of it in the UK.
Because here's an Empire article from 2000 about, and it says California Man review.
And it's Encino Man.
And they have pictures of Encino Man.
Okay, yeah. And Empire is based in the UK, so.
I'm looking this up. I'm getting to the bottom of this because I had no idea about
Duncan,
this.
I feel very I feel very silly right now.
It was known as California Man in France, Great Britain, Asia, and New Zealand. Wow. That's one of my favorite movies too.
That calls for a Owen Wilson wow. Wow. We gotta get Owen Wilson on the show.
Yeah, we learned something new, guys.
We learned something new, yeah. Encino Man is definitely another high school kind of.
Yeah, didn't we mention it?
I think we did talk about it a little bit. Yeah. So I guess does Grosse Point Blank count? I mean, there's the whole school reunion and returning to old ways deal. Plus, it's one of the greatest films ever made. I don't know. It's a tough question. It is a bit of a tough question, Duncan, because I think there's so much school-based media that there's a lot to choose from. I mean, we had a whole list last time.
Did we even mention American Vandal last time?
We did not.
That's another one.
And that is such a good show. Yeah. If you've never seen American Vandal, Netflix canceled it, but man, those 2 seasons of that show are incredible. I mean, it's one of those Netflix shows where if it had ended after the first season and it was just like a miniseries, that I think that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I still would have been happy. But season 2 just made it even better.
Yeah.
It talked about different stuff, but it was still the same show.
Very poignant.
Yeah, super poignant. Both seasons. Both seasons were super poignant.
Yep.
The first season won what was it, the Peabody? I think it won the Peabody Award.
It did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the first season, yeah.
Wow.
Which is so funny, a show about, spray painting dicks. But it really did deserve that. I mean, it's so clever and like so well done. But no, back to Grosse Pointe Blank. I think that is a great example because it is about, how he felt in high school and like that
school reunion.
Yeah. And like, and that going back to that time and how you can't really go back to that time, like the things change, I mean, like his house is now a little convenience store and like, God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
That movie's so good. I love the way they use Under Pressure. That's one of my favorite bits. My dad always loves that.
But the specials, that was the specials version of it, right?
No, I think it's the original.
Was it the original?
Yeah, it's the original Bowie and Queen.
No, I'm thinking of another song.
Oh,
I'm thinking of Pressure Drop, which was also used in the movie.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
By the specials.
But yeah, no, there's that great moment with Under Pressure where he's holding the baby.
Yeah. Oh,
love that bit.
Yeah.
And Minnie Driver, dude. Love Minnie Driver. I love John Cusack. This is one of the movies where it's John and Joan together. I love that.
Yeah.
My mom always thought of me and Mia as like another John and Joan Cusack. She was like, oh, you guys could totally do that kind of thing. And I love that. Yeah, I could totally see that.
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd doing a great, and Alan Arkin too in that movie. What a perfect movie, man. You're so right, Duncan.
Super underrated, I think.
Yeah, I think it is super.
Yeah.
I think amongst the right people, it is not underrated. People tend to like you get the right people in the room, and it's like, Grosse Pointe Blank, awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, but like other people are like, what's that?
Yeah.
But yeah, it does have a great soundtrack. I was just watching a video by the Violent Femmes, talking about Blister in the Sun.
Yeah.
And how they had to re-record it for Grosse Pointe Blank.
Really?
Because the original masters of that album were destroyed.
Oh man!
Like the studio, it was such a funny story because the production studio went out of business, and so they were just getting rid of everything, and so they put out an ad in the newspaper that said, if you have original masters here at this studio, you need to come and get them before X day because we're gonna throw them away.
That's terrible.
So like no one saw it.
What?
No one saw the ad in the paper, so they just threw them all away and they all got destroyed.
It sounds like somebody's like, hey, tell everybody. Yeah, sure.
yeah.
Put an ad in the paper.
Well, it's like maybe they didn't have enough money to like
sit down and call everybody.
Yeah, call everybody. Yeah, because it's like they were going out of business. So what money did they have?
Wow.
But
interesting.
But yeah, so they had to re-record it for I think for the soundtrack for Grosse Pointe Blank. So yeah, but that I mean it's great. What a great freaking movie, man.
Yeah.
And Joan Cusack is great in that. I love her like destroying everything in the second half of the movie. Like he's like, get rid of it all. She's like, okay. She grabs the wad of cash. Yeah, that's so good.
Such a rad movie.
Yeah, but yeah, I think back to your point about School of Rock, I think like they just nail that feeling.
Time of non.
Yeah, like this kind of nondescript.
Yeah,
because even like people don't really use. That's one of the things about like movies. People don't really use cell phones.
Yeah,
it helps to not date the movie.
Right.
Like if they're using landlines, which people still use landlines, it's still pretty like that can keep it pretty
like style and fashion dated, too is always kind of a
but then you're at like a prep school, so they're all like wearing uniforms, so it's kind of like not you still have this like nice
consistency.
It's like this. It's almost like it's another world. Like when your movie takes place in like a sort of a heightened reality. We still got a lot of time, so I guess we'll just go through.
Got more comments, right?
Yeah, we got a ton more comments. Yeah. Okay, this is from a woman named Elizabeth.
You do that every time.
Yeah, every time. She says, I too am a super fan of Ned's Declassified.
Oh man.
But you knew that. Of course, I loved the romance between Ned and Mose and Cookie and Lisa. I love, Cookie and Lisa Zemo.
So funny.
So funny.
Yeah.
I the idea that there's like this like Princess Diaries kind of quality to Lisa Zemo, like this sort of like how after I think it's after season 2, like season 3, she just becomes like all pretty or whatever. Like she doesn't have the glasses and she's not. She doesn't have to like
super geeky.
Yeah. Blow the prescription up her nose or whatever. Yeah. My favorite episode was the finale when Ned and Mose finally got together. That's a great one.
It's a great episode.
And they were actually dating at the time. Devin Werkheiser and what's her name?
Lindsay Shaw.
Lindsay Shaw, yeah. Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah. I'm on it today.
But they were dating at the time, so that also helps with the romance on screen, right?
It was so good. I remember watching it live.
Yeah, me too. I remember seeing it when it premiered. Yeah,
and it was such a great parting.
Yeah, it's
I wasn't sad.
Something we didn't talk about. I kind of listened to the last episode again, and something we didn't talk about was how perfectly that show ended. And it's just a great run of 3 seasons. A lot, like most episodes are pretty much perfect, Excuse me.
They have all 4 seasons on Amazon now as well.
Oh, yeah.
Purchase.
Yeah.
Before they just had individual episodes.
Oh, right. So you can
purchase.
Get the full...
Yeah, for one of the seasons.
Yeah.
Now we can buy it all.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think the show just perfectly, it's so good. I really wish they released like a special edition or something, like a Blu-ray or, even just a DVD, because I would love to have...
Wish Cartoon Network would just do that already.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Nick.
Nickelodeon. And Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. I think Cartoon Network started doing that with some of their shows. They have season 1 of Courage the Cowardly Dog and, all the classic shows. And and there's a full season box set of Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. Which is great. But I know for a long time they would always do that thing where it's the
Volume 1.
Yeah, Volume 1, the Karate Days, and then they do all the action based episodes of whatever thing, or they'll do Volume 2, the Spooky Times, and it's all the Halloween episodes.
Just for parents to buy for kids.
Yeah, it's just
put on the TV
because and part of it I get, again from a marketing standpoint, I can see why they would think that it wouldn't work to sell a quote unquote kids show
collection of episodes.
Yeah, a full season thing. Because, the kids, part of the way they used to do it is they would just trick children into thinking the show was going to go on forever. Right. They would cancel shows unceremoniously and they wouldn't let them have an ending.
Venture Bros.
So that way, yeah. Well, we'll get into that. But
next week.
Yeah, but they would, so they would just play reruns and the kids would and you would sit there a new episode, but it wasn't a new episode. It was the same one you'd seen, a year ago. And you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? How come there's not, why did they stop showing new episodes? Yeah. It's because they canceled the show, but they just keep doing reruns to make you think the show,
It's cruel.
Yeah. And now they don't do that anymore because there's the internet and stuff. So it's easier for people to be like, whoa, you can't just end it without ending it, Yeah. But whatever. But Ned's Declassified, I think, perfectly ended. And the finale has a great song, Big Brown Eyes.
Yeah, I remember
by
that.
Old 97s.
So great.
It's a great song.
I feel like watching all these things now.
I know, it's so good. So good. We got to do a full Ned's Declassified. We'll watch the whole show and then we'll do an episode about it. One of my favorite school movies is To Sir with Love. It was the high school you always wanted, Skyler. How do you know? Who are you? I'm just kidding. High schoolers learned about life from a teacher that was only there until he got a better job. But in the end, he gets caught up in the reward of reaching even the most reluctant student. I guess that's every teacher's dream. I say it was the high school you wanted because he teaches them how to cook and probably other lessons they'll use in the real world. Blimey, sir. That's a good movie, To Sir with Love. I think there's a sequel, but it's not as good. But I think it's from the 60s, I believe. And it's
never seen that one.
Sidney Poitier, I believe.
Oh, cool.
As the teacher. And it's great. I mean, it's, it's your classic, teacher goes into classroom full of rowdy kids. And then he makes them, he teaches them that the world's not all about them and they become better people. It's classic for a reason because it works. When you do it, right, it works like gangbusters. Yeah. Similar to what our main topic is going to be today.
Hey.
But anyway. Okay, here's the last comment. After this, we won't have any comments to read because we're recording 2 episodes at once right now. Brandon's going to be gone next week.
Yeah,
so
double episodes.
So we're recording 2 today. So I guess we'll just ask questions anyway, and hopefully we'll get a bunch of comments that we'll be able to read 2 weeks from now.
Following episode.
But anyway, here's the last comment that we got. This is from Mia. Mia says, can't think of anything really that I liked that was specifically school themed, unless you count like Ouran High School Host Club, because it takes place in the school and that's like a part of the story. Of course, that absolutely counts, Mia. I don't know why you're like, you're being like, I don't know, this counts. No, it totally counts.
Yeah.
Ouran High School Host Club, great anime. Really, really fun little shoujo.
What's that mean?
It's because so you have, like shonen, which is like the boy anime, so it's like the action. So like Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
And then shoujo is like the girl, like the romantic comedy,
Okay.
like Ouran High School Host Club or whatever.
Okay.
Or like Fruits Basket, like that's shoujo.
Okay.
But it is so funny and like so well done, that show. Has a good dub too. Although people have their opinions about that kind of thing. But
That's fine.
But whatever.
Unless you say the Cowboy Bebop dub's bad.
Oh, if you say the Cowboy Bebop dub's
then
bad,
we're gonna fight.
We're coming after you.
You're in trouble, buddy.
We're coming after you. But anyway, no, it's a great show, and I think that definitely was something that when Mia introduced that to me, I was like, wow, this is great high school storytelling. I love. There's a big trope in school-based media where like the characters are never in class. They're like the high school's just like a setting. Like they don't.
Yeah.
Everything happens in the hallway, or like they're having conversations in the middle of class that have nothing to do with class or whatever. Which like to some degree is totally true. I honestly think that it's totally true. And also, as we discussed with when we were talking about substitute teachers last week, like it's very much like you can get away with just like having a whole other adventure inside of the halls of a school besides
We did that a lot.
actually doing your work.
Yeah.
But that show is a huge, like, you could totally, Ouran High School Host Club is very much that trope to like the nth degree. They're never in class. They're always just hanging out in the music room where they have their club. And that's like the whole show. He references going to class like once, which is actually really funny because he gets cursed by another student and one of the main characters. And he's like, after he cursed me, I walked into a classroom to take a test. Or he was like, I walked into a classroom, and as it turned out, we had a test, but it was in a language I didn't even understand. And everyone's like, you walked into the Latin class or whatever by mistake. It wasn't like... it was like,
how does this happen?
That's like a great gag, but that's like one of the only times that like... going to class is actually important, which is funny because I think like Ned's Declassified actually like circumvented that trope pretty well because they're constantly in class. A lot of the episodes are about like having to do assignments and stuff, and like
so they got around that.
Yeah,
and we never really saw them outside of school ever.
Yeah, I think they only had like the school set. There's an episode where it's about the bus. And so you see like Ned waiting for the bus on like a random street corner.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe the most we
ever got inside of the set.
I think season 2 they build like the outdoor part of the set where like
I remember that,
there's like the back area of the school where they have to like the bully like Loomer and them have to like paint it and fix it up. That's about it. The only other time is the finale when they go on the field trip to the thing, but maybe we're forgetting something.
Maybe.
But yeah, Ouran High School Host Club is great. There's a lot of like slice of life anime that takes place around like high schools and stuff.
Yeah.
And actually another great, if you're into anime but also you like being surprised and maybe a little bit scared without spoiling anything, a game you should check out is the visual novel game Doki Doki Literature Club, which is insane. It doesn't sound insane, but it's insane.
Never played it.
It is super,
I know of it though.
Yeah, it's super duper like it just throws you for a loop. Honestly, me telling you that it gets crazy is like a spoiler in itself because like it's just like your run of the mill dating sim anime kind of thing until it's not. Like all of a sudden it just stops being that and it turns into something totally different.
Cool.
And it's great, but it's like I'm like sad that I said that to you because now if and when we play it,
I'm
like
expecting it.
You're gonna be like, oh man, what's gonna happen? Because it's a slow burn. Like you're sitting there playing the dating sim for quite some time, and then it it turns into something else.
drops.
Yeah, it just
Ooh.
out of nowhere.
That sounds fun, though.
It's really it's so entertaining. But yeah, there a lot of that slice of life stuff and a lot of like horror stuff too in anime, like horror games that are like Japanese kind of based, always take place in a school.
Yeah.
You always see that kind of thing. But yeah, Ouran High School Club totally counts me out. I don't know why you're being weird about it. Well, I think those are all the comments. Let me see. Let me double check. Make sure that. Yeah, that was cool. All the comments. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for commenting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we won't have any comments to read next time, so I don't know what we're gonna talk about in the opening, but we'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out.
But anyway, let's talk a little bit about what the main topic is today.
What are we going over today, Skyler?
So today we're going to talk about some fighting things, some fighting media, in particular.
Nice.
The Ralph Macchio.
Like punching sound effects.
We just did it. I don't need to put them in. But in particular, the Ralph Macchio Pat Morita vehicle, Karate Kid, Karate Kid Part 2, and of course the new to Netflix but originally YouTube series and sequel series to Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, with William Zabka, who is great in the show. I mean, everyone in the show is great, but he does an incredible job. Props to him for saying yes to that show. Like hearing the pitch of like, it's about Johnny and he's like a total loser bum with no life, and he peaked in high school. And I props to William Zabka for hearing that and going, I'm in.
Total bro.
But I mean, it totally works. It's so good. Can't wait to talk about it. But we will talk about it after the break.
Ooh, yeah.
So I guess we'll just go to the break.
Break time.
I'm being awkward about it because I give us 30 minutes to do the top of the show, and we've got like 3 minutes left on the clock.
I think that's all right.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So I guess that concludes the beginning of the show. We will see you guys after the break.
See or hear.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we'll hear you. Last time we said viewers, and now it should have been listeners.
Yeah.
I was like,
we're getting there.
Damn it. We're so new to this audio thing. Eventually, this will be a video-based podcast too, right? So,
yeah. So we could say viewers then.
Yeah, so we'll say viewers, listeners, whatever. Yeah. And then we could do like visual gags.
Yeah.
Although I love I love like trying to do like audio-based jokes in here.
Yeah.
I took a class on that in college, a few semesters ago, quite a few semesters ago. And I did a whole, you were part of it. I did the whole 12, he was like, make it 3 minutes, right? Like 12 minutes long.
Wait, which one was this one?
It was the Ninja Lawyer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did Ninja Lawyer's first episode.
That's right,
as like an audio.
That wasn't that long ago.
It was.
Was it?
In college time, it was quite a while ago because I've taken many classes since then.
Okay.
But that class like made me really like to do like the audio stuff, all the audio jokes and things.
So funny.
Yeah, that's partly why I like doing the podcast because we can do kind of goofy stuff like that. Yeah. Remember when we had our radio show in high school?
Yeah. Still on SoundCloud.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh man. We wanted to
I wanted to get on somebody else's radio show and upload 12 hours or whatever the amount of the show was. It was like, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it was going to be nothing but Brody Quest.
Yeah, Brody Quest.
Yeah, I would go into the class before and replace their file with a file that I had edited and took home. But I never got around to doing it. I'm so mad that I didn't. Like
that would have been so funny. But I think you actually would have gotten in trouble. I don't think that would have been one of the times where it would have been like, yeah, it's all good, bro. Like I think you actually would have.
Who? Yeah, maybe that's why I didn't do it. Like the instinct drive was like,
no.
It's like,
no, don't do it. You didn't have Eric there to be like, do it, Brandon, do it. Oh, that's a good story.
Nobody would have heard it.
No, nobody would have heard it. Yeah. I think Mr. Seifert would have heard it and been like, "What
idiots?"
He would have known it was you.
Would immediately known.
He would have known it was you, but he would have gotten mad at me. He would have gotten. That's exactly what would have happened because that was always the thing.
He would have just looked at you and said, "Why'd you let him do this?"
I remember I asked Mr. Stewart, I was like, why do you always get mad at me for the stuff that Brandon's doing? And he was like, because you know better. I was like, that's not fair. Oh, man. Okay, on that note, now we actually have hit the 30-minute mark.
There we go. I guess it worked out.
Yeah, we filled in the time. All right, well, we will be right back.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you after the break.
This is the Video Vault with Brandon and Skyler.
Welcome back.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. Welcome to the show. Well, not well. I mean, you're already here. You were, this is a commercial.
Yeah.
Thanks again to our sponsor for this episode, Anchor. That's how we distribute this podcast to all the wonderful places that you guys get to listen to it.
Yeah.
But you already heard about that in the ad. So we're going to talk about the main topic today, which is the Karate Kid. I mean, some more like fighting media too, but specifically we wanted to talk about the Karate Kid because So, long story short, but maybe not. YouTube Premium came out and they were like, making a bunch of content with the creators on the platform. They did the Slow-Mo Guy show and they had like Scare PewDiePie and yeah. Well, I mean,
YouTube content.
They didn't even release the second season of that show.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Something about a bridge? I don't know. Oh God. There's a really funny clip of, do you know what's his name? Dr.
Disrespect?
Yeah, Dr. Disrespect. There's a really funny clip of Dr. Disrespect like chatting with PewDiePie and he's like, "Hey, everybody in my chat is saying something about a bridge. What are they talking about? What does that mean?" It was so funny.
Oh my God.
Because he gets all mad. It's so funny. Anyway.
I actually kind of like Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah,
like
just his character's
pretty
so
cool
goofy.
Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty messed up how everybody, there was like a time when people were like targeting him. Like he had like people, like he was getting doxxed and stuff. It was like, there was like video of him like getting really like pissed off.
Poor Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah. And then Twitch just like dropped him. That's crazy.
It was weird.
Him. It was super weird.
Yeah.
No one's explained why.
Yeah.
But anyway, so YouTube started making like original content for YouTube Premium, which you had to pay for. And I was like, there is no way I'm going to pay for YouTube Premium.
Right.
Like I was like,
the biggest pool was Cobra Kai.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. Because when I saw that came out, I was like, okay, that's interesting. I like that idea. I like the idea of like Johnny, being the main character and like basically taking that YouTube video of the guy being like, Johnny's actually the main character of Karate Kid and Daniel's actually the bad guy. Like taking that video and basically turning it into a show. Yeah. Like I like that idea. But I was like, I'm not going to pay for YouTube Premium. That's like, it just didn't feel like it was worth it. Yeah.
It really wasn't, I don't think.
Yeah. And so within the last year or two, YouTube decided to move away from scripted content on YouTube Premium.
Good move.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you shouldn't get YouTube Premium because I learned later that YouTube Premium does help. Like they pay the creators more through YouTube Premium, which is really nice. If you want to support the creators you really like, then YouTube Premium is a good way to do that. But I think only for the people who have shows on YouTube Premium.
Because there's also definitely, I know I was ragging on it, but there's some definitely good stuff on
Yeah,
YouTube Premium.
I mentioned the Slow Mo Guys show. The Slow Mo Guys are really cool. And
Matt Pat had a series too, didn't he?
Matt Pat did have a series. Yeah, I forget what it was called.
Yeah,
where he did like video game stuff in real life.
Right?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
But Cobra Kai was like their big scripted series, and I found out later that the creators pitched it to Netflix, and they were like gunning for Netflix, and Netflix was like, "We're ready to sign the check," and then YouTube was like, "We want it," and they like promised them like full season and everything, like from initially signing up because they were desperate for that, original like scripted.
I guess
content.
like a broader viewership. Almost.
Yeah.
They were trying to reach a higher audience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So they said yes to YouTube, and it worked out great because YouTube produced these 3 seasons.
Wow.
But then YouTube was like, well, it doesn't seem like it's worth it to do the like scripted content anymore, so we're gonna shift that. So actually that's an interesting thing. So if you are a fan of Cobra Kai, the reason that season 3 is coming to Netflix, even though season 3 is finished, like they've said on Twitter, the creators have said that it's done, it's edited, it's filmed. They finished filming before the outbreak, before the coronavirus outbreak, and they got deep into editing before the coronavirus outbreak really took hold of the U.S. So that it's done,
awesome.
But they're holding on because YouTube did produce the 3rd season,
right? And
they were like, well, we won't release it because they were like, we don't want to release it on YouTube. Like we want to have something new for whatever new platform we go to. And so they have the first 2 seasons on Netflix right now. And then season 3 is going to come out in 2021, hopefully like January or something. I know they haven't set a date, but yeah, that's the idea. Which I think that's a great. That's a good move for sure. Really good move.
Yeah, and I just like I don't get on YouTube and expect to watch like a good narrative series. And I remember watching the trailer for Cobra Kai when it first came out. Yeah, and I was, hey, this actually looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like how they're changing it up, the whole story. But then again, I saw it was on YouTube Premium, and the same thing we were just talking about. I wasn't gonna subscribe to that. I'll watch it later sometime whenever I get the chance, or free trial or something like that. Yeah. And never did. And again, we saw that it was on Netflix recently. Cool. I was really happy. Yeah.
I mean, I was excited to watch it because I love Karate Kid. Yeah. I love Karate Kid 2. Karate Kid 3 is not great.
I only ever saw the first one.
You got to
watch the second one.
So they confirmed that every movie that has Mr. Miyagi in it is canon. In the show.
Cool.
Now that being said, I think you can skip Karate Kid 3 because all that happens in Karate Kid 3 is that he joins Cobra Kai and then he regrets it, and then Miyagi's like, I'll take you back, and then they fight Cobra Kai again, and then they win. That's the movie. It's like a rehash of the first movie kind of, but where I think there's an interesting idea there where Daniel joins the Cobra Kai, but it's just such it doesn't quite work. Part of it I found out is because the actor who plays John Kreese, the leader of the Cobra Kai in the first movie, he had a scheduling conflict for the 3rd movie. So the 3rd movie, they rewrote the script where he dies, quote unquote. He actually fakes his death. Another guy comes in as the head of the Cobra Kai, teaches Daniel or whatever, and then at the end of the movie, John Kreese comes back, and he's like, I'm not dead. And it's like, whoa, oh my God. But it's like weird. If it was John Kreese, I think the movie would have a little bit more like room for me to be like, well, this is an interesting idea. Yeah. Because it's the same guy from the first movie who's like really a jerk and evil, and he's like the bad guy kind of. And then like he's teaching Daniel, like Daniel decides to work with him. Like that's kind of, that would have been, yeah, it's like more interesting than just some random guy. But it is canon in the Cobra Kai universe. Cool. So it's interesting. But I think the first 2 movies are just. And that second one, that's one of the things they talk about, that they were like, we wanted to capture that in the show, is that like the first movie, the stakes are pretty low. Like Daniel, he's trying to get these bullies off his back, right? The second movie, it's literally life or death at the end of the movie. Like there's a moment where like before Daniel steps into the ring or whatever to face the final villain, Miyagi like grabs him by the shoulder and is like, this isn't a tournament. Like this is like,
dude could kill you.
Like you're fighting him to beat him, right. not to win a trophy. And so like it's cool how the stakes get raised in that second movie. death or like the possibility of death is like a concept in the Miyagi verse, as they called it, which is really cool. I love that idea. And they kind of take that to a really great place in the second season of Cobra Kai.
Cool.
There's a great episode. I don't want to spoil it too much.
I haven't seen season 2 yet.
Yeah, but it's episode 6 of season 2, and it features. I don't think this is too spoilery because they do get other people back in the show, but it features some of the old Cobra Kai members.
Cool.
And it ends with a Queen song. It ends with like the ending of that episode blew me away, and I was like, they could do this show for like 5 more years, and I would watch every episode. It was so good. They use "The Show Must Go On" by Queen, and I was like once that first note hit, I was like, oh my god, yes, I'm so happy they used this song. And then the way they used it and the way that episode ended, I was like, this is it's so good. It's so good.
It comes back to just like, wow, the production value on it for being a YouTube series is so impressive.
I mean, you can see that YouTube put really everything they had in it because they were like, we want this to be good. We want to prove that we can play with Netflix, that we can play with Hulu, and it worked out because I mean, like, it looks great. Season 2 looks great. The action is great. You've only watched the first episode.
Yeah, right? I only saw the first episode.
Yeah, so there's a lot.
I just got into it.
For you to enjoy.
I'm excited. Yeah, my brother loved it too.
But I think one of the things that I think you should do is watch at least Karate Kid 1 and 2.
Yeah. I'll watch 2 later.
Yeah,
and then watch it 1 with Max.
Because 2 is so cool because one of the things that I don't like is that they wrote out Elizabeth Shue. But I mean, because the plot is that they go to Okinawa because Miyagi's father
they go to
sick.
Japan, right? Yeah.
Miyagi's father is sick, and so Daniel tags along with him, and they go to Japan, and it's just a cool. The visuals in the movie, the story is great. This sort of like legacy, like Miyagi left under sort of bad circumstances because the woman he loved, he was gonna run away with her, but she was arranged to be married to another guy, and all those like pains, all those heartaches are still very much like alive and well when they get to Okinawa. Like everybody there who was involved with that still is feeling like they're still reeling from that, even though it was decades ago. Yeah. And so Daniel's kind of caught in the middle of it, and
interesting.
Yeah, it's and like the score, dude. Okay, so like, Karate Kid and Karate Kid 2, and I think even Karate Kid 3, but they're directed by John Avildsen.
Not sure.
Avildsen?
I could look that up.
Yeah, well, it's the guy who did Rocky.
Oh, okay.
And so
Champions, that same kind of spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. John Avildsen.
Avildsen.
Yes.
Okay, with a D?
Yeah, with a D.
I thought it was a
after
T.
the L.
Yeah, Avildsen. So he brings his team with him to make Karate Kid, including Bill Conti, who does the score for Rocky, the classic. And the Karate Kid score, like if there's anything to take away from Karate Kid, and especially Karate Kid 2, it is the score. Like the music in those two movies, especially Karate Kid 2, it blows me away. I've been listening to that score while I've been building our website and everything.
So motivational.
It's just, it's so great. It's so triumphant. The ending of the Karate Kid 2 score makes me I feel like a hero. Like you feel like you just accomplished something, incredible. It's so good. Bill Conti, what an incredible
what else did he score?
Film composer. I don't know, but the only thing he ever did of note was Rocky and Karate Kid 1 and 2. Like that's enough for me, but did he do anything else?
That's all he did. That was really like
notable.
Yeah, it was super. Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, what a legacy! Because people still use the Rocky. People reference that. Like it's not like that's in our.
It's in everything.
That's in the zeitgeist. Yeah. Like that's like we as a society.
We live in a society.
Sorry, I was checking my phone. We as a society, like we know that. Like we reference that. That's like shorthand for training.
It's Americana, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's super duper is.
Definitely.
I mean, there's a reason people run up the stairs at the Philadelphia.
It's because of
the art museum.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's partly because that song, like that training sequence doesn't work nearly
wouldn't
as
work
well
without it. Yeah.
without that music.
Yeah.
And same thing with Karate Kid. I mean, you could say that about most movies. I remember the Russo brothers talking about Endgame, Avengers Endgame, and how they were like the portal scene just was not.
It's not the same.
It was
Silvestri
like
score,
worked,
baby.
but without Silvestri's score, like once Silvestri's score got in there, it was like, whew, this is like a totally different thing.
Oh
like,
man,
you know,
yeah, coming and like what we mentioned earlier about music in just pop culture, you know, film, TV shows, just scores make everything better rather than just using.
I think so.
You know,
I think even if you only have a minimal amount of score, you know, if your movie is based around a killer soundtrack, you know, a movie like even Guardians of the Galaxy uses the score really well,
perfectly.
You know, it uses both the soundtrack and the score like so well.
Great example of how to use them.
Yeah, and I think Karate Kid does it really good too, because even though it dates the movie, it's not a bad thing. That the movie's dated. It's
not always a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not always a bad thing. I think it's important to know this movie takes place in the 80s, so we're going to use 80s songs. You know, like it really works, like the way that they do it. And I love how in Cobra Kai they take some of those 80s songs from the original soundtrack and they utilize them differently, or
flashbacks.
Or in flashbacks.
I really like the first episode.
There's an episode where two characters go on a date, and I believe they use like literally the exact same shot and music as the date that Daniel goes on with Elizabeth Shue.
That's so awesome.
Allie, in Cobra Kai, like they call back to that so perfectly, and I'm like, oh man, that is like
freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. I think like the Karate Kid movies have the training sequences, like the scores for those, and especially like those final moments, like when he does the crane kick at the end of Karate Kid, and the climactic fight in Karate Kid 2 has amazing score. Like it just it's rousing. It like builds up, and you're like you're on the edge of your seat, you know, like it's just so like crowd pleasing and like motivational kind of like you're like, wow, I want to be Daniel in Okinawa. Like I want to go to the last round of the karate championships with a busted leg and, you know, win with the crane kick. Like I was watching an interview with Ralph Macchio, and he was telling the story of how they made the first movie, and originally the beginning of the second movie. So the original ending of the first Karate Kid, the original ending of the script was that they leave they win. They're leaving, and in the parking lot, John Kreese is yelling at the Cobra Kai students, and he's like, "You guys are losers," and and he's like ready to beat them up, And then Miyagi steps in, he beats up Kreese, and then he's like, he's gonna do like the final kill move or whatever, but he honks him on the nose. And then all the Cobra Kai students, they take their belts and they drop them, next to Kreese, and they leave, and that was like the end of the movie. I'm sure there was a little bit more to it, but that was the end of the movie. But then they were like, after they shot the movie, Ralph Macchio was saying that John Avildsen, like after they shot the scene, like the final fight at the karate tournament, he was like, "All right, we have our movie." He was like, "That's it. Like we don't need anything else after that." And after the movie came out, they did, or it wasn't. I think they did like a preview screening, and outside of the theater, like everybody, like little kids, old men, everybody was doing the crane position. Cool. And the producer, I forget who the producer is. Ralph Macchio said, the producer came up to me, put his hand on my shoulder, and he goes, "I think we're going to be making a couple of these." And I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. But that was partly the decision to cut that scene from the end of the first movie, because they used that as the beginning of the second movie. The second movie great. Picks up right after the first movie.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is so cool. I love that kind of thing. But yeah, man, Karate Kid, just so good.
I gotta watch that second one, man.
Yeah, dude, love that second one. There's a great scene with like a storm, which again, the score is like incredible there. There's I shouldn't say that because it's like spoilery. But there is a sad scene. Also has a great score. Like the Karate Kid 2 really just
perfectly scored.
Great score.
As good as the movie's made.
Yeah, I mean it's so good. I love it. So what'd you think of episode 1 of Cobra Kai?
I loved it. I should have gotten some water. So rad. Something that Max said to my brother, that why did we take so long to start watching it? And then everybody that I've been talking to, my dad was really into, have you seen Cobra Kai yet? really cool. I love how they turned the tables on Johnny.
Yeah.
How he's like become the villain. And then you just
or Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel. Sorry, yeah, Johnny Daniel.
Anna does the same thing when we're
yeah.
watching. She's like I can never remember like
People's names.
which name is which.
It's like me with like Stokely and Carmichael. Like, just so bad with names. I don't know why. Yeah, this was really cool. Like Daniel's daughter.
Yeah.
Being instigating that. I don't know if I should I say
what
happened.
I think we can spoil the first episode.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's just it's a foundation for the rest of the series.
Yeah, it's like the first act of the
yeah,
movie. Right?
Yeah, it's freaking cool how because the episode starts and even my mom was like, "Wow, what an asshole!" She's saying he's a total jerk.
Yeah,
and of course that I knew that was gonna have an arc towards the end of the episode. We're gonna feel sorry for him. He's gonna be a total awesome dude. And damn, I didn't think I was actually gonna dislike Johnny, man. He's like, wow, dude, he's the total dick now. So,
well, actually, what I like about it is that he's like a dick because
like
or Daniel
aggressive. Daniel, sorry,
there
you go again, Johnny.
I like that he's like a dick because he's so nice.
Yeah,
he's just like that's why he's the villain.
Yeah.
Or he's the quote unquote villain. He's like the antagonist.
Yeah.
Or at least he is right now. Ooh, maybe somebody else comes in and
he doesn't say how long could they carry this on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing I love about it is that like there's this gray area that like the first movie and even the second movie kind of touches on this gray area sort of thing, but the first movie really is like this black and white like it's Daniel versus Johnny. It's Miyagi versus Cobra Kai.
Right.
Like it's very much like
way more than
we're
that,
rooting for Daniel. Johnny's being the asshole. And then now, and you'll see as the show goes on, like it's a little bit more gray because Daniel's still a good guy. Like Daniel's still a nice guy. He's just like his dickishness comes across because we're sympathetic to Johnny.
Yeah, we're already rooting for him.
Like we're already rooting for Johnny.
Yeah.
So when Daniel is like, but Daniel doesn't know that Johnny's like a drunkard, like living in like a cruddy apartment.
So sad, dude.
So like, so it's almost like from Daniel's perspective to give him to poke him a little bit about technically I kicked him in the face, like like that. From Daniel's perspective, it's like, well, that's like a funny gag because Johnny was the aggressor in high school.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and Daniel's look past it all.
Yeah. So Daniel can be kind of like, hey, I'm just busting your chops, man. We're like, hey, we're cool. But it's like from Johnny's perspective, he's a total loser. Yeah,
and he's still
like
hurt about it.
Yeah, like that's when he peaked. Like so, like so he's just like this asshole. Like I hate this guy. But as the show goes on, you see how they kind of like there's this fluctuation, and I think the first season has a great arc for Johnny. And not to get too spoilery, but I was telling my mom the final episode of the first season, Johnny has this like I called it like a Jojo Rabbit moment. This like disillusionment where like, like Jojo kind of comes to the conclusion like, wait a minute, like, maybe this isn't good. Like maybe what I've been doing is wrong, or like even at the beginning of Jojo Rabbit, you have Sam Rockwell's character when they're burning the books and he's just standing there kind of like not, like he knows that this is not,
it's not right.
It's not right. It's not sustainable. It's not, he's just kind of like, you can see the look on his face, like is like, oh, this is, but he's like, his is more like, like he already knows it, like he's living in it.
It's a good foreshadow.
Like, for that. But like in Cobra Kai, in that final episode of the first season, there's a moment with Johnny where there's multiple moments really, but it is kind of this thing where he's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Like you're like, because man, so there's the character Miguel.
Yeah.
What happens at the end of the first episode, by the way? I can't remember.
He goes up and he offers just to train him, and
so
he pretty much prepares him for his training. Are you ready?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So the arc that Miguel and Johnny go through in that first season is like, I loved it so much.
Yeah.
It really like puts a pin in that gray area kind of thing that they're talking about, where there's a little bit more nuance, which you can be afforded that nuance in a 10-hour show.
Cool.
As opposed to 2-hour movie.
There's how many? 8 episodes?
There's 10, and they're all 30 minutes.
Okay. Oh, okay. So that's why it seems.
Or it's 5 hours, right? Am I wrong? Is my math bad?
Oh, dude, you're asking me. We just expose ourselves.
I remember one time I was doing some math. We were at, and we were like trying to sort items for one of the movie parties at Alamo Drafthouse. And I was like, "Is my math right?" And you're like, you took calculus. I was like, dude, I don't know. Is it 30 minutes? So is 2 times is an hour.
Yeah.
So 30 minutes 10 times is
5 hours.
5 hours. Okay, so 5 hours, not 10 hours. But I guess 10
2
hours
seasons.
over 2 seasons. Yeah. So
You were right.
yeah. I was wrong. I was talking about 1 season. That's fine. Anyway,
I hate math.
no, but I really like the gray area kind of thing. I think there's only one thing that I didn't like about the show, and it's a plot line in season 2. And this isn't really spoilery because it's just so boring, I think. Is a plot line between like Daniel and his wife, and the car dealership, and I'm kind of like, I don't care. And like it has to do with like Daniel this is kind of spoilery, but whatever. It has to do with Daniel focusing on karate
Or his car dealership.
as opposed to the car dealership. But I'm like, there are 5 dealerships that we've heard about all across Southern California. Why does he need to be there all the time? Like, there are 5 different dealerships. Like, what why is it
weird business?
It was a very it's
plot.
a very strange plot that I'm like, I don't like. He doesn't need to be there. And then like the lesson that gets learned at the end is like, you know, Daniel's like, oh yeah, I should be at work more. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? Like, do the karate. Like that's like,
Damn it, you're the Karate Kid.
yeah. I was like, what the heck? It was so frustrating to watch because I was like, this feels like you're learning the wrong lesson, and it's like weird. But that's the only thing.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like a subplot. It's a B plot, you know.
It's not about him.
Yeah, it's not really about him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
About Johnny.
Yeah, it's about Johnny.
Yeah,
I mean, it does become more about like Daniel and Daniel's daughter and
The relationships with others.
yeah, and Miguel and some other characters that I think haven't been introduced in the first episode.
Cool.
So I won't.
That's really cool.
But
It's they're stretching it out.
yeah, they're really
Yeah,
like it sort of is a legacy thing. You know, between like Daniel and I don't think it's a spoiler to say Daniel teaches somebody.
Yeah.
He teaches a student that becomes a bit of a rival to Miguel. You know, like
Go figure.
Yeah, we're sort of doing the same thing as the first movie a little bit, which you can see in that first episode when Johnny sort of is the Miyagi to Miguel.
Yeah.
When he fights the guys outside of the convenience store. Right. Yeah, which is a great. I loved that. I was like, and as it was happening, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like when Miyagi fights him at the Halloween dance. Yeah. I was like, this is so cool. It was cool. And they pay good homage to Pat Morita.
Yeah.
Especially like later on, there's an episode later on that like dude, I was like crying in some episodes. Like it like, you know, the way that Daniel thinks about Mr. Miyagi and like how he wants to try to honor him, you know, which is partly why, because part of me was like, how are you gonna, as I was thinking about the show, I was like, how do you, oh my God.
Whoa.
Sorry, my neighbor has the loudest bass in the world. Did I tell you that story? We were sitting in the living room, like on his car.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. We were sitting in the living room and like the door, like the front door,
Rumbling.
like jostled, like as if someone was trying to get in. And I was like, what the heck? And I go to the door and I like touched it and I could feel the thumping
Rumbling.
of his bass, like of the bass from his car.
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, dude, like why? Like why does it need to be that loud when you're pulling out the driveway?
He's like, time for an adventure. So turns up his bass and blows his ears out. And his nuts. Jesus.
No, but one of the things I really liked is that Daniel so I was wondering, how are you going to create conflict? Because if Daniel has his own business, and Jesus Christ, dude.
Is that coming up on the mic, dude?
Yeah,
That's
is.
hilarious.
It totally is. And then dude just like sits there in his car for like 20 minutes with the bass going. I'm like, dude, stop. Like, just leave.
What a weirdo.
Get on the freeway where no one can hear it. No, but I was wondering, how are you going to get this conflict going? Because if Daniel has his own successful business and a family and everything, and Johnny's some deadbeat, what reason does Daniel have to, start getting back into the karate thing?
Yeah.
And once Johnny reintroduces the name Cobra Kai and the ideals of Cobra Kai,
that's when he gets involved.
That's when Daniel's kind of like, what are you doing? Like this, this is not good. And then the story becomes about like Daniel trying to honor Mr. Miyagi and the teachings that he passed down to him. Yeah. About like, it's about defense. It's about, like, serenity, it's about peace and fairness. It's not about, no mercy and, we're only winners here and we don't have any losers and sweep the leg and all that. Which like, man, that guy in the first Karate Kid, like the guy who plays, I think Martin Cove is his name. John Kreese.
Yeah.
He's incredible. He's and I think the story was that like he had been passing on roles, waiting to confirm the Karate Kid audition.
Yeah.
So then finally when he did get the audition, he was so pissed because he had passed on like so many roles that when he got the audition, he was actually mad. So his audition worked out because he was just like all like intense and angry. Yeah. And I love that. Even something that I love too is that like the guys who created the show, they pitched it to William Zabka and Ralph Macchio as like, we're the biggest Karate Kid fans in the world. We just want to make a good story that's like a sequel to the series. We think we have a good idea. And you can see how they like are pulling from all different like little moments in the show or in the movie. I love that the show opens with the final fight. Like they just show the final fight in the first movie.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I love is that like, and again, this is part of Johnny's arc as a character. The moment in the first movie when Kreese is like, sweep the leg.
Yeah.
And Johnny's like, the look on his face, he's like, what? Like, and he's like, do you have a problem with that? No, sensei. Like, but there's like this, like, he's like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But like,
it's the moment of guilt.
Yeah, but he like does it anyway. And
still loses.
Yeah. And you can kind of, and there's a good William Zabka interview too that I was watching where he talks about how he was like, the reason I could be such a jerk at the beginning of the movie was because I knew that at the end I hand Daniel the trophy and say, you're all right, LaRusso, good match. Like he was like, I knew that I could be a huge asshole at the beginning of the movie because he wasn't really a huge asshole. Like he was going to learn his lesson. Like he was going to be,
that arced.
Yeah. And so it's interesting because that works in that first movie, and then you cut to 30 years later, and Johnny's like a total loser. Yeah. It's like even though he learned his lesson, kind of, he still didn't.
Never got over it
because he's holding it inside of him.
Yeah. And
so you kind of see him go through that arc a little bit again through the show, where he kind of has to learn that lesson again a little bit. But perhaps one of the things I really like about the show is perhaps Johnny makes too many mistakes before he learns that lesson again. And it kind of bites him. And I love it. Like,
I love shows like this, man. I'm so excited I finally started watching.
It's so good, dude. I can't wait to talk to you more about it because there's just like so many like cool things about it. And if you watch the first two movies before you keep watching the show, you'll catch all those little like callbacks that they do and all these little things.
I'll sit down and watch them with Max before I watch anything else.
Yeah, Karate Kid 1 and 2, both of them are so good.
Love the first movie, man. Yeah, that first so cool.
So classic. And again, the soundtrack, the look, the score.
It's a classic 80s movie, man.
It's great. The Halloween sequence.
Yeah.
When they fight him in the back alley or whatever.
Skeleton.
Yeah. It's so good. They pay homage to that later on in the show too. Yeah.
He was in the first episode.
Is it the first episode?
Yeah, when he's driving down the street drunk. Johnny
yeah.
is having
Well,
flashbacks.
they do a little bit more with
Okay.
it later
Cool.
on. Yeah.
Awesome.
Which is great. And
Such a cool show.
and even in the show, they do their own version of that YouTube video of the guy explaining like, here's why Daniel's the bad guy in Karate Kid. They do their own version where Miguel sits down with Johnny and he's like, why do you hate, Mr. LaRusso so much?
Uh-huh.
And Johnny's like, well, let me tell you. And he tells the first movie from his perspective. And it's like so funny because it's like, yeah, I could see that. I could see why Johnny might have felt like Daniel was being an aggressor.
I even like the part in the first episode where Johnny says, you broke the rules and
I
broke the rules and I got called out on it. And you kicked me in the face and won.
Yeah, because a lot of people
Yeah.
say that the crane kick's an illegal move.
Uh-huh.
And that he shouldn't win. So it's fun. So I like that he calls him out. That's one of the things I also really like about the show is that because it's made by fans, they respect the original stuff, and they poke fun at it, but not in a way that's like, man, that was a stupid, goofy '80s movie. Yeah. Now we're doing like the serious reboot, like they're towing that line so perfectly.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but one of the ways that they make that work is that they'll do something very genuinely, So, for instance, maybe Daniel trains somebody using the Miyagi method.
Yeah.
And they do it very genuinely. It's virtually the same thing as the first movie.
Okay.
And then later on, maybe someone else tries to train that same way, but it just doesn't quite work the same way. And they kind of make jokes about the waxing on and waxing off and the sanding the floor. But because you start with the earnestness, because you start with like, okay, this is how things work in the world of the Karate Kid, in the world of Cobra Kai, you can learn karate by doing all these tasks. When you do that first, then you make the jokes about it, then it's like, okay. Like I'm not like mad. I'm not sitting there like, man, do you even like the people who make this even like Karate Kid? Like, because sometimes there are those like reboots or like, legacy sequels where it's like it doesn't even feel like the people who made this like the original thing, or like the people making it don't understand what made the first one good.
It was done by people who actually understand, everything about it.
Yeah,
inside and out.
Yeah,
the good, the bads. It's kind of like making fun of Star Wars. Having a good Star Wars parody.
Yeah.
Or even anything in mainstream media, like DC stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it's like you have to care about something to
make it
to
good.
Make something like it or a sequel to it. Mel Brooks talked about that, right? Where he's like, you can only make fun of something that you really like, right? Like, or it's like it's only going to be good if you like that thing, right? Like, because if you don't like it, I remember that cruddy parody movie Vampires Suck. And it's like clearly
Holy
everyone
crap, I forgot about that.
Dude, yeah. Well, the reason I remember it is because I always think of that as like the antithesis of what Mel Brooks is saying in that statement, where it's like clearly not a single person involved in that film liked Twilight. So it was just like dunking on Twilight the whole time, which like is like, sure, that can be funny. It was funny for like, a year while Twilight was popular. Yeah. But at a certain point, it's like you have to be more clever than just like, he sparkles when his shirt's off in the sun.
It's like the first three scary movies.
Yes,
nailed.
Yeah, because it's
comedy,
like
because they liked those horror movies.
Yeah,
and they knew what to poke fun at.
Yeah, and it was like they knew when to be silly and like and then after that it was like,
oh man,
this doesn't
cash grabbing now.
Yeah, it's just like stupid, and that's why like a movie like disaster movie or like epic movie, just totally like falls flat on its face, because it's like, there's no structure. What does it mean to be an epic movie? What does it mean to be
those parody movies really came to a halt, thank God.
I know, yeah.
I would really like to do Oscar movie though.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Yeah. Well, see, that one would actually be easy to do.
Yeah. And we like the movies.
Yeah. Well, A, we like the movies. But B, because all those movies are so dramatic and like self-serious, it's easy to just be like, oh, haha, like, We're
not going to talk about it anymore because we'll just be giving it out.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It's like we pitching the same ideas. But anyway, that's why I think that's partly why I think Cobra Kai works like gangbusters.
People understand.
Because they
creators do.
They like the movies. They like those characters. Yeah. They understand that the thing that makes that first movie and that second movie work is the earnestness, is the sincerity of like, the friendship between Miyagi and Daniel you know, there's a hokiness to teaching him through, you know, waxing cars and painting a house, but in like it's almost like a fable.
Yeah.
You know, like that's why it works.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be super realistic.
Right.
And by the time you get to certain things in like season 2, it's not very realistic, but it is very exciting, and it works within the context of the Cobra Kai Miyagi-verse. Like you're not sitting there going like, well, that wouldn't happen, because we've established what universe we're in. We're in a universe where these things could happen. Like it's not out of the question.
Yeah.
You know? And it works. And all the kids are great in the show. All the kids who end up being major players. Because I don't think the first episode I think the only kids that they touch on are Sam, Daniel's daughter, and Miguel.
Yeah.
And even then I don't think she has a big moment
All
in the
they
first
do
episode.
is hit his car in the first episode.
Yeah.
And
that
then,
part's great when he walks into the dealership and he's
Yeah.
like, oh shit. Yeah, like he sees the daughter and he's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there are so many good moments like that where a character will walk in and you'll be like, "Oh no!" Yeah, like you'll realize, like you'll suddenly
Stinger.
realize, that like certain
man.
characters have never talked to each other before, and then when they're in the room together, you're like, "Oh,
cool.
like you're like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, they're together. Oh no, like they know things that the other one doesn't, or like
Nice.
that person doesn't know the relationship between this character and this character, and oh my god, what's gonna happen? You know, so. There's so many great little twists like that. And the first season has a great cliffhanger at the end of it. And the second season also has a great cliffhanger. Actually, I think the second season has I would say it has 2 or 3 cliffhangers, depending on what you consider as one cliffhanger by itself. Because the status of the world is kind of shaken at the end of season 2.
Ooh.
So it's kind of like, whoa. Like I'm so intrigued to see what's going to happen.
Now I don't want to wait for it.
Yeah.
Even if I'm just on the first episode.
Yeah, when you get to that final episode, you're kind of like, how are things going to get back on track? Because everything just kind of like goes a little off the rails, and not in like a bad way, not in like a Game of Thrones way,
right?
Like,
no,
like it goes off the rails in the sense that like
now?
Whoa,
Yeah,
like things have happened that are a little bit irreversible. Like it's going to take
cool.
Like if we're going to get back to like a status quo, it's going to take some work. Like some characters are going to have to, do some work to get back to where they were, which sucks because some of those characters like worked hard to get to a certain point,
undone now,
and then everything kind of gets undone. Not in a bad way, not in like a How I Met Your Mother way, where it's like, why did we waste 9 seasons? Like it gets undone in like a no, like oh no, how are we gonna, because there's more story. Right. You're not sitting there like this is the end of the show and all of a sudden they changed the characters. Like you're like, oh no, because you can all see in those characters' faces like, what have I done? How am I gonna? How do I come back from this?
Cool.
Like how do I built up all this goodwill and now
it's gone,
I've undone
shattered.
it. Or maybe they haven't undone it because kind of like things, the finale kind of ends very quickly. Like all this crazy stuff happens and then after it like subsides, the finale kind of it like ends. So you're kind of like, oh, wait, what's gonna happen? Because there are so many things left lingering in the air. It's like, oh man, it is so good. So I highly recommend. You can watch on Netflix right now Karate Kid 1, Karate Kid 2, and the first 2 seasons of Cobra Kai.
Sweet. Karate Kid 1 and 2 is not on Netflix.
Oh, what?
That's why I didn't watch them right away. I saw the first one's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, did they take them off? Because they were on Netflix like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I looked this last night when I was watching them.
Oh, dang. Okay, well, you definitely however you can, you got to watch.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to do last night was watch the first one, and then I was like, let's just watch Cobra Kai instead.
Yeah, you gotta watch the first 2. They're so good, and just read like the Wikipedia article for the third one.
Yeah,
but I think even the fourth one, the next Karate Kid, is it Elizabeth Shue? Did she come back for that one? Is that who it is? I think it is. But anyway,
I think so. Actually, yeah.
But that one's they're both great, and Cobra Kai is really really good, and the stunts I think are really good too. I like the fight work in Cobra Kai.
The whole production's just really solid.
I'm sorry. I got a text. But anyway, oh God, I'm kicking the table. Everything's going wrong. One of the things you wanted to talk about, Brandon, was Riccio.
Oh yeah,
a little bit.
another good kung fu.
We'll talk about this a little bit because there's another thing I really want to talk about that was like making us laugh. But so Riccio is another like fighting kind of martial arts movie that is batshit crazy. It's about a guy who goes to prison and he fights his way out of the prison.
Literally.
Yeah, like he literally. I would say this is a spoiler, but like, I mean,
you gotta watch it for yourself.
You won't even believe me when you hear me say it. The guy literally punches his way out of prison, and that might sound like I'm, I'm being like hyperbolic. He literally punches his way out of the prison.
Love that movie.
There's a great moment where he fights a guy and the guy cuts his stomach open. He doesn't, not Riccio's stomach, like the other guy, the guy that Ricky is fighting. His stomach gets cut open. His name's Oscar. Yeah. I remember because so then he like disembowels himself and starts to choke Ricky with his intestines. Yeah. And then like the prison warden and all the other like inmates are watching the fight, and the prison warden goes, "Yeah, you got a lot of guts, Oscar." It's a great line of dialogue.
That movie is freaking nuts. Oh my god,
it's so good, dude.
And you should remake that movie.
I know, yeah.
It's an American remake.
And then like the warden blows up, like not like he blows up like Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, not like blows up the guy in Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah. Like he becomes big and puffy. Yeah, and fights Ricky.
That movie's so nuts.
Yeah,
and it's the craziest martial arts movie.
And it's called Riccio: The Story of Riccio, which is like such a great. I mean, like it's just perfect. If you want to have a good time with your friends, and you like martial arts movies and like dubbed Asian like films,
you're in for a blast.
That is such a fun time.
Oh yeah,
I remember we watched it together. Were you there when we watched it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was like in 10th grade.
Yeah. Sophomore.
A long time ago.
We watched it on like a Google Drive link.
Yeah.
Plugged into the TV and everything. Yeah.
I forgot. I thought it was on. No, I remember like.
Yeah. Because it's not something that you find on Netflix or whatever. Like we had to like look for it. Mm-hmm. That was so funny, man.
So funny.
I remember the movie ends and there's like no credits. It just like
ends.
He punches and then it says the end and then it ended, and we were kind of like, oh man, they really knew they knew no one was going to stick around.
You made it this far. Here, you happy? It's over.
Yeah, that was
great movie.
Riccio, man. What a crazy movie. Yeah.
Recommended film of the cast of the episode.
Yeah, recommended other than the Karate Kid stuff.
Yeah.
Riccio, the story.
Everybody's seen Karate Kid. For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. I would say a lot of people haven't seen Karate Kid 2.
Yeah, see, I haven't.
It is totally worth it. Karate Kid 2 is great. And Cobra Kai is kind of like the number one thing on Netflix right now. Yeah. I mean, it dropped to number 2, but it's super popular right now, but I can't recommend it enough. It is so good.
Great series.
There's a reason it's popular. It's really great. Yeah. I can't wait for you to watch more of it.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I would say other things that deserve their own full episodes, but, just to shout them out are... Rumble in the Bronx.
Oh yeah,
Jackie Chan's Rumble in the Bronx is great. Also Jackie Chan's Legend of Drunken Master.
Classic.
Love that one.
Oh yeah. Super Cop.
Super Cop.
Cop
dude.
that can't be stopped.
The cop. Meet the cop that can't be stopped. Actually, on that, I would say The World's End.
Yeah.
Because they even have part of Jackie Chan's stunt team.
Oh yeah.
On that movie.
Mm-hmm. In the bar fight, right?
Yeah, well, all the stunts, but the Beehive fight specifically has a lot of
Drunken
Master references. Yeah, him trying to hold the beer in his glass during the fight. Yeah, is great. It's so good.
Oh, man, there's so many that I love. Six String Samurai, I would throw out, which is hilarious because that was the first film that Brian Tyler scored. I watched it again the other day and I saw that you scored by Brian Tyler. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What a trip. Super cool movie.
Let's see. What else? Because there's some good ones. Obviously, I wanted to mention, I wanted to mention, not just Enter the Dragon. That's it. That's what it's called, right? Enter the Dragon?
Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Which actually has Jackie Chan in that film. That was the first movie that they worked on together. which is really cool when you watch and you see, you're like, oh my god, that was Jackie Chan.
Yeah. So young.
Jackie Chan just got kicked in the face by Bruce Lee.
Whoa.
But then the film that I didn't realize until I was older that was a parody of Enter the Dragon, Balls of Fury.
Yeah.
Which is like pretty ridiculous and not very like martial artsy at all until the ending when it's what's his name, Dan Fogler, or it's Dan
Something
Fogler,
like
right?
that, yeah.
He's great. I love that guy.
He's making a comeback.
I wish he was in more stuff.
He's starting to come back. Yeah,
he's in the Harry Potter movies.
Wasn't he in Bill and
Fantastic
Ted?
Beasts. Was he in Bill and Ted?
Was he?
I don't know.
Bill and Ted 3?
I don't know.
What was I watching with my brother the other day at home? That was like, hey, it's that guy.
Balls of Fury guy.
Balls of Fury guy. Yeah.
Dan Fogler.
Yeah.
No, but the final fight between Dan Fogler and Chris Walken is great. It's so ridiculous and weird, and what a weird little movie. But it wasn't until I got older. Like I had watched. There's a funny story I have about going to see Enter the Dragon at the film festival because I was late. And I walked in, and it was like the end of the opening credits, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I probably didn't miss much." And then I went on IMDb reading like the fun facts of Enter the Dragon later on, and like the first fun fact was like, "Enter the Dragon is known for having an 8-minute long opening credit sequence," and I was like, "God,
crap!"
I was like, "Damn it, I missed so much." But and then like a month later, Balls of Fury was on TV. And I was watching it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so stupid! How did I not realize it was a direct parody?"
Funny.
It's so good.
And then Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Oh yeah, Kung Pao Enter the Fist, of course. That's another thing that we were bonded over.
Oh yeah,
as friends,
yeah.
we didn't like because I remember the first time I went to your house, we're sitting there eating pizza, and you go. Was it you or your dad? I can't remember. One of us. Yeah. One of you guys asked me. You're like, "Have you ever seen Kung Pao?" And it like blew my mind because I was like, I've only known like 2 other people who've seen Kung Pao, and the 2 people I knew have seen it. So the same time I did at like a birthday party sleepover thing.
I'll never forget as a kid I had the choice to watch Snow Dogs or Kung Pao. And I was like, I want to watch Kung Pao.
Good choice, dude. Good choice.
To this day, I'll never forget it, man. I'm so glad that I did.
Oh yeah, when he punches the hole in the guy.
He like punched the hole like right through him, man.
I don't even think that's how that works. Like
Chosen one, I'm coming.
Chosen one, I'm coming. Timer.
Snort.
I'm her father. Wee 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 wee.
Endlessly quotable, dude.
It's so good, man.
God.
When the dog dies.
Yeah, and then he killed the dog. Farts in the dog. I'm always quoting that with Max.
Taco Bell.
Product placement, Taco Bell. In Chorito, nacho burrito. Oh my god. Maybe you need some Neosport.
I shall now be known as Betty.
What do you get when you cross a bungee cord with a what? Is that the cat? My ass. The pause in between, like the joke and him saying my ass is just like the longest pause in the world.
The one I always find myself quoting is, I could dance like that if I wanted to.
Oh man,
that guy who made Kung Pao,
Steve Odenkirk.
Yeah. He made Jimmy Neutron.
He created Jimmy Neutron. Barnyard.
Yeah, Barnyard. Yeah.
Thumb Wars and Bat Thumb.
Thumb Wars, yeah, Bat Thumb. I remember you burned a DVD from your Bat Thumb. Yeah, which is so fun.
Oh yeah,
I remember the reason. That was part of the reason we're friends. Not part of the reason.
DVDs too for you guys.
But it's because it like the connection like was made in my brain where like. You were like, oh, have you ever seen Bat Thumb? And I was like, no. And you're like, I gotta watch it. And then as I watched the DVD that you gave me, I remembered seeing the DVDs of the Thumb movies of like Thumbtanic, Bat Thumb, Thumb Wars at Suncoast.
At Suncoast, okay.
At the mall.
Hell yeah.
And then we talked about like in Suncoast, and I was like,
it all comes together.
This looks like a bus. It's all coming together. It was great. It was great.
My God.
Okay, so we have a fun little thing that we saw.
Let's do that.
So there's a post on Twitter don't know if this is the original person who tweeted it, but this is the user that shared it that I'm sharing it from. So if this isn't
this dude's
if this
isn't
this guy's, it's not my
content.
fault. Yeah. Thank you. I didn't know how to phrase that.
I was thinking of it too.
This is his fault. So at Matt Tomic, MATT Tomic, tweets food mascots and whether or not I'd be able to kick their ass. So from they would absolutely kick my ass to a fair fight to I could definitely kick their ass.
So we have like several tiers.
Yeah, so there's several tiers. So in the highest tier of they would absolutely kick my ass is the Jolly Green Giant and Tony the Tiger.
Yeah.
And then in the second tier there is Chester Cheetah, the Trix Rabbit, and the Sugar Bear. And then the next tier down is the Kool-Aid Man, Ronald McDonald, Captain Crunch, and the Burger King. And then now in the fair fight tiers, we have the red M&M. I just realized that the red M&M and the yellow M&M are like in different tiers. Yeah. We have the red M&M, Chef Boyardee, Uncle Ben, and the Colonel Sanders from KFC. And then now we're down into the tiers of I could definitely kick their ass. The yellow M&M. What's the frog one?
Honey Snaps.
Oh, Honey
Smacks.
Smacks. Oh, Honey Smacks. Okay,
Frog,
yeah. The Lucky Charms leprechaun.
Yeah.
Mr. Peanut, which now I could definitely kick his ass because he's a 21-year-old peanut now in the marketing campaigns. The Hamburger Helper Hand, or glove. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember that tweet going around that was like, if the Hamburger Helper had like innards, what would they look like?
Oh, yeah.
And they did like a skeletal structure of like, what would it look like? And then finally in the lowest tier of I could definitely kick their ass is the Papa Keebler Elf, the main Keebler Elf guy. What's his name?
Oats guy.
Well, the Quaker Oats guy. Well, it seems like the Quaker Oats guy is the lowest one, but I don't think that's true.
Definitely not true. After
no,
this.
it's the elf from the
Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah, the Pillsbury Doughboy, Quaker Oats guy, and the Gerber baby.
It's fucked up.
The freaking Gerber baby, dude.
Yo, that's problematic, man. I'm not gonna kick the Gerber baby in the face.
I mean, look, if the Gerber baby was trying to kill me.
All right, well, that's a different story.
I mean, I could probably
hunt the baby,
beat up the baby, but I'm not gonna beat up a baby. Just the caveat that I would never beat up a baby. But if the fictional Gerber baby crawled out of the Gerber baby products, and tried to murder me,
he's going down.
I could beat him. I could for sure beat him. So my point that I made was I think that based on Evil Dead 2, I think the Hamburger Helper would actually be a pretty fair fight.
It would be pretty scary.
It would be very scary. I would be super scared.
I'd be afraid to fight the Hamburger Helper.
Honestly, I think a lot of the lower tier ones would be scary because they're tiny. And so I
would kill the Pillsbury Doughboy. I would cut him up and bake the hell out of him.
Just get him in the oven.
Just throw him in the oven.
But what if that powers him up? What if it's like Superman? What if like a villain was like,
but he's made
I'll
of
just
dough.
Kill Superman by throwing him in the sun.
He's made of dough.
And then you throw him in the sun and then
I'm gonna burn him to like a black to like there's just like his outline on the pan.
Have you seen outline on the pan?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Gingerbread Man?
No.
Okay, it's a horror movie.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, yeah. With Steve Busey and
Gary Busey?
Gary Busey, yeah. Sorry, his son is Steve
Busey,
yeah. Gary Busey, and he is a murderer that gets turned into
Gingerbread, yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry. Well, that's just a fun thing.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of the end of Child's Play, where Chucky's like all burned up. So what if like you burn the Pillsbury Doughboy, but then he comes out of the oven like...
I'll just get a shotgun and shoot him at that point. It's just like, all right, I'm just gonna shoot you now, dude. Like,
I'm wondering why the red M&M is a more fair fight than
because
the yellow M&M.
the yellow one's kind of dumpy.
Yeah, I guess he's like a pushover.
Yeah,
he could like kick him.
sorry.
Yeah, but the red one's like ready to put up a fight.
I would still like annihilate both of them.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
He made it chocolate, so first of all,
Yeah,
just take a chunk out of his face.
Yeah.
And bite him.
I mean, but look, they're pretty evil. Those M&Ms in that one ad campaign, they like ate one of the other.
What they do to Santa Claus too once, didn't they?
Oh well, no, they just like freak him out.
Oh, yeah.
And then he like faints
That's true.
because he's like, oh my god, they're real. That's a
Yeah.
classic ad. They still play that ad.
Yeah.
It's so good.
We met Billy West.
We did. No, you.
Oh, I met Billy West.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was very sad.
Yeah. He talked about being the red M&M.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
That it was a lot of fun. And it makes him a lot of money.
That's a very Billy West.
Yeah.
I don't know that Colonel. I think the Quaker Oats guy.
Colonel Sanders is old.
Colonel Sanders is
He's
old.
got weak bones.
I think
Just push him over.
I think him and the Quaker Oats guy should swap places. Because
The
I
Quaker
think
Oats
the
guy's
Quaker
probably a
Oats
little
guy's
tougher.
probably a tougher, more of a fair
Yeah.
fight.
I would still knock his old racist
He's
ass out.
he's an old man.
Yeah.
But he eats oats every day, so like he's probably kind of jacked, right?
You're right. Yeah, we don't see him underneath that.
We've never seen him
logo.
below his shoulders. So.
Yeah, you're right. He might be like yoked on oats.
Uncle Ben, I don't want to touch that.
Yeah, I don't want to fight Uncle Ben.
Don't want to fight Uncle Ben.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him bruise me up a little bit,
Yeah.
and then I'll go beat the shit out of the Burger King. I'm gonna annihilate the Burger King.
I remember your comment was, "I would annihilate Ronald McDonald and the Burger King."
I would, dude.
Why is Sugar Bear so high on the tier? Like, why is?
I don't know. I guess because he's a bear.
I guess. I mean, he's pretty restless. You know, he does beat up the old lady. I mean, he doesn't beat her up, but he does whatever he needs to get that sugar crisp.
There's that one bit on Robot Chicken where like the Trix Rabbit it teams up with like Captain Crunch and like all the other cereal mascots, and they're like all drug dealers because like the sugar is like getting everybody addicted. And at the end, it's like a Scarface type shootout.
Oh my god,
it's really funny. That's what this kind of reminded me of.
Yeah. Our friend Jim, friend of the pod, Jim,
Hey, Jimmy.
said that he could totally destroy the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, man. He could like drown you.
It
like,
depends.
He could just pick you up and throw you inside of his, just hold you down inside of his head.
Yeah, he's always busting through walls like super easy.
That too. So that means that the glass is like super
durable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jim was like, give me a windshield breaker.
One of those like little sharp pointy.
Yeah, he was like, give me one of those in 5 minutes.
He's coming down.
And I was like, what if he's like triple paned glass? And Jim was like, they're designed to break the
those.
glass. Like, I would kill him.
Oh. Ronald McDonald, I would disembowel.
He got a lot of guts, Ronald.
Choke the Burger King with it. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Bring
man.
back the Szechuan sauce, motherfucker.
The Trix Rabbit would beat me up.
Aw, dude, come on. He's going down, dude.
I feel like I could put up. I feel like I would have more of a fair fight with him, but he definitely.
I would Batista bomb the Trix Rabbit. Grab him by
Tony the Tiger would rip my face.
Yeah,
off.
dude. I'm Chester Cheeto and Tony the Tiger. We're fucking boned.
Like both of them together, I'm like, it's
yeah,
over.
Yeah, dude.
I think I can maybe take Chester Cheetah a little bit because he seems so like laid back. Like
Cheetos are fast.
yeah, but he's so like just like
He's pretty chill, dude.
Hey,
what's up?
It ain't easy being cheesy.
Yeah.
I think that's from Family Guy.
Jolly Green Giant.
Jolly Green
annihilate
Giant would
me.
destroy everyone.
Yeah, he would just like put his foot in my chest, like.
Yeah, no.
drop
I mean, he's a giant. Like, what are you gonna do?
And
like,
then his little green buddy would come over and pee on my face. Oh no! You gotta pee on my little green guy.
At least it's nice and clean because he
smells like asparagus. Oh
no! Dude, yeah. Gerber baby.
Gerber baby's like, that's just messed up.
Yeah.
The only one I'm leaving out of this fight is Uncle Ben because he's probably the chillest dude.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even want to fight me.
I would say, yeah. I don't know why.
And I know he would kick my ass.
I don't know why I would need to fight him. Everybody else, I totally get it.
I would want to fight the Jolly Green Giant, but I know what would happen.
Yeah. I get you. I think all the tiny ones. I think like Pillsbury Doughboy, Hamburger Helper, Mr. Peanut. What's the elf? What is it? It's a
Keebler?
Yeah, Keebler elf.
Oh, okay.
I think they're all a little tricky. Like they could.
I don't know, man.
They could, dude. Like you ever try and kill a roach that's going real fast? It's like that. Like or like when there's a roach on you and you're like and you're like like trying to smack at it and you like can't get it and you but you don't want to kill it while it's on you because you don't want the roach guts, so you're like, you know, trying to figure out how to flick it off of you, and then it gets on the floor and you're like, where'd it go? That's the kind of thing. You know that short film we wanted to make where the guys get the apartment and the little man is inside
like Achilles heel open?
Yeah.
It's terrifying, dude.
Yeah. It's like
that would definitely be the Hamburger Helper.
I think Hamburger Helper for sure.
Like
Hamburger Helper
Dad,
would be
Dad.
like Thing from Addams Family.
And the
you know,
Evil
just
Dad
crawl
hand,
around. Yeah.
Ash's Evil Hand.
Yeah, Ash's Hand and Evil Dead too. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The Honey Smack Frog would probably be easy to kill.
For sure. Yeah, I think he'd be one of the easier ones. This is.
Yeah, man.
Do you think they could call on their like associates? Do you think like the Lucky Charms leprechaun would
to like
call
fight
on
us
the
together?
Children, like to fight?
I don't think that'd be fair. Because like I would have to bring like my crew too then.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd drop some kids to kill Lucky. Yeah, man.
Do you ever go to that website that's like how many third graders could you fight?
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure we've done this before.
Oh yeah, I think we did that in high school.
It's terrible.
It's so funny.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's so funny.
It's so damn funny.
How many third graders could you beat up
300
before
evil kids. Oh, dude, I'd be terrified.
Like this is all assuming that these characters have decided to end our lives and we have to fight against them. And then also it's the fictional character.
We're not just voluntarily beating
fighting,
up kids.
Yeah, we're not just fighting a Gerber baby. And we're fighting the icon of the Gerber baby.
Right.
I mean, if that's the case, any character that's not full body, we could probably beat up. So Gerber baby's done because Gerber baby only is the head.
Yeah.
You know? Quaker Oats guy, he doesn't have a lower half. So.
Jolly Green Giant only has like the first half.
That's true, but there are images of the Jolly Green Giant
him.
on like his boxes and stuff.
He's tall.
Yeah, he's like bigger than a forest. So
he'd be like the Conor McGregor. Who the fuck are you? Just smack me.
Yeah. Tony the Tiger, we've seen full size, and he's jacked.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Look at his arms just in the picture.
Yeah,
he's
jacked.
like
Like swole as hell, dude.
Yeah, he just put me in a headlock.
Like, and look at his thumb. His thumb is the size of his nose. Like
God.
It's over, dude. Trix Rabbit is fast. I think so I think for me,
I don't know. I think I could take him.
I think the top two are for sure Jolly Green Giant and Tony the Tiger.
Without a doubt.
And Kool-Aid Man. I would put Kool-Aid Man way higher.
Yeah.
Because like
he's scarier than Chester Cheeto.
Yeah, honestly, because if his glass, I'm not like Jim. Jim is. I think Jim, our friend Jim, is built to fight the
Kool-Aid Man.
The Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah.
I am not.
Yeah, me neither.
And I'm not confident with a windshield breaker.
I would need that to fight the Kool-Aid Man.
I would need that to fight him, but I don't even think I would.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be able to get close enough to him to do that. He would just like drown me with the Kool-Aid.
I just can't get over how entertaining it would be to watch me fight Ronald McDonald.
I know.
Burger King. Like, that would just be hilarious.
Have you seen that meme of the guy dressed as Ronald McDonald? He goes into the McDonald's and he stands on the counter and goes,
"Oh yeah,
let's freaking lose it!" And he starts like,
yeah, I've seen it. Oh man, fucking Ronald McDonald.
Oh my god, dude.
Asshole.
Oh god. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, it's a nice little hypothetical there.
We need to have more hypotheticals. Maybe that's a new part of the show.
Yeah.
Hypothetical.
Yeah.
Hypothetical. Who would you win in a fight? I think I could totally take Gerber Baby and Colonel Sanders and Yellow M&M and the Honey Smacks Frog.
They better keep their dirty looks to themselves.
Yeah. But I think it's Jolly Green Giant, Tony the Tiger, and Kool-Aid Man for me. They're the ones who are gonna like
Burger King, I'm coming for you.
beat me into oblivion. I think I would have a fair fight with the Sugar Bear.
Yeah,
Sugar Bear for sure.
Be a fair fight.
I could fight him. I could fight Sugar Bear. Yeah.
Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch. Yeah. Yeah, he's short.
I was gonna say he seemed really short.
Yeah, he's super short.
Yeah. Chef Boyardee.
I wonder why they didn't have Toucan Sam on there. I mean, Toucan Sam I think would also be. I wouldn't be able to fight him. I think his beak is too big. He would just beat the crap out of me with his beak.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other like.
I'm trying to think of like other mascots now too. Like,
Who else is there? If you could fight a food mascot, who would it be?
Yeah.
What's your food mascot that you think you could beat in a fight?
You wail on?
And who do you think would beat you in a fight?
I can't think of any other ones right now.
I can't think of any other food mascots.
Oh, the polar bear from the Coca-Cola polar bear.
Ooh, the Coca-Cola polar bear.
Rip
Totally,
my head off, dude.
would
like,
just destroy, annihilate.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
While sliding down a hill going, wee!
Yeah.
That's what they would like be eating your bare like bones while he did that, drinking a Coke. They would beat you up and be like, drink Coca-Cola.
That'd be terrible. I wouldn't want to fight those guys. Who's another mascot?
I don't know.
That I would be able to fight.
Yeah, like the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, little Cinnamon Toast Crunch things. They're just the cereal itself. Dude, the Apple Jacks apple and cinnamon stick.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember those guys?
Yeah.
I would kick their ass.
I would kick their asses too, especially because they're so ugly.
Yeah, and because I'm pretty sure the cinnamon stick was like on drugs.
He was like cracked out, dude. Oh no, the cinnamon stick dude was like probably like I think the apple was cracked out.
Oh, the apple was the cracked out.
Cinnamon stick
one,
was like the pothead.
Yeah. So both of them, yeah. I think.
Oh yeah.
I could beat up.
Yeah.
The apple would probably give me a fight because he's like
a little crazy.
He's like he's got like the energy. Yeah.
Does Ben Stein count as a?
What is Ben Stein?
That one eye drop commercial.
Oh yeah, that's not food.
Oh yeah, but he's kind of a mascot.
He is a mascot.
I mean, fucking hated those ads.
I could beat up Ben Stein.
Ben Stein's a total asshole in real life, apparently. So,
I think he's got a complicated thing because he loves being recognized for Ferris Bueller. So I mean, if you like go up to him and you're like Bueller, he's like, yeah, he loves it.
You go up to him and drop him for those commercials, though.
I would anything else Ben Stein related. I'm like, okay, whatever. But if it's Ferris Bueller related, I would like to talk to him about it. But otherwise, yeah I could probably beat him up.
Yeah,
I could beat him.
Assuming he's a mascot.
He's an old man, you know. Yeah.
He is now.
Yeah, he is now. I mean,
he's always been
honestly,
an old man.
Even young Ben Stein from Ferris Bueller, I could beat him up.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. You going down, Ben
Stein? Friend of the pod, Ben Stein.
Ben Stein's at home.
He's like, he found our podcast. He was like, "Oh, this is a nice little podcast."
He's the oldest viewer that we have. Damn. There goes our old viewer.
Whew. Oh man.
Nah, screw you, Ben Stein.
No. I'd rather end on a more positive note, but
I mean, that is positive. We could take him out.
Yeah, it's definitely to dinner. That would be
dinner. Batista bomb him on the table.
Oh my god.
Yeah, been watching a lot of wrestling lately.
Yeah, I can Batista's been Batista bombing people on Twitter.
Yeah. I love Batista.
He's a great guy. It's awesome.
Future guest, Dave Batista.
Future guest, future friend of the pod, Dave Batista.
That'd be rad.
Every single famous person we reference is a future friend of the pod.
Yeah. Tim Schafer and Scotty C.
Super duper future friends of the pod.
Weekly shout out.
Weekly shout out. We can't go one episode without mentioning Double Flying or Psychonauts. Yeah.
Just to keep talking about them until they call us on, or they're like, "What do you want?"
That's how they did it on Psych. They just referenced Billy Zane and Val Kilmer endlessly until they both appeared in the finale.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
It'll be the finale of the podcast, and then we'll get a Vice show like Jesus and Mero.
Yeah.
And then we'll get canceled on Vice and picked up by Showtime.
Hell yeah. Okay, so the question for the podcast today is: what is your favorite fighting martial arts movie? Yeah. We mostly talked about today's theme was more Karate Kid and Cobra Kai than anything. Mm-hmm. Tell us about your favorite martial arts movie, or tell us what you love about the Karate Kid. Or if you think Karate Kid 3 is a great movie, go ahead and tell us why you think that.
Or 4.
Or 4, yeah. I haven't seen 4.
Yeah, me neither.
So I need to watch that, but I hear if it's Elizabeth Shue in it, I'm not sure. But if it is, I hear she's a badass. Yeah. So, cool. But anyway, tell us about your favorite martial arts movie. Tell us about your favorite moment from Karate Kid. If you like Karate Kid like we do.
Yeah. What mascot you could fight.
Yeah, what mascot you could fight. Just leave us a comment.
Yeah.
Leave us a comment on our Facebook page, on the YouTube. This podcast does also get uploaded to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, yeah. Reply to us on Twitter. At Truman Pictures. You can find us on most anything at Truman Pictures. And actually, with the launch of this episode, you can now support the show on Patreon.
Yeah.
If you go to patreon.com/Truman Pictures, you can support us. We have really, really small tiers, $1, $3, and $5.
Help us get new chairs.
Yeah. Get new chairs that aren't squeaky. Help us get new microphones. I think we're going to get new microphones anyway, but help us get some new stuff. Help us fund more podcast episodes.
Help us make movies.
And more videos. And, we're planning to get into streaming soon. So.
We're doing this for your entertainment.
Yes.
FYE.
FYE, but not associated with the store.
Yeah. Because Suncoast was cooler.
Yeah. Actually, I found out that Suncoast and FYE
merged.
Same parent company.
I'd be damned.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So pretty cool. Actually.
They should just actually make FYE look cool, though.
Yeah. But anyway, we now have a Patreon, so go ahead and
check us out.
Check us out on Patreon.
Please.
If all you can spare is $1, that's cool. And even if you can't spare anything, that's cool. Just follow us on social media.
Share our podcast
share
to your
the podcast.
friends. Listen to us when you're on the way to work. Listen to us at work.
Yeah.
Listen to us in the kitchen.
Maybe not on the speakers at work. Just on your headphones, but
on the speakers on the toilet.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, that's a good idea. To all you Truman Pictures poopers.
Oh yeah, I'm one of them. Proud of it.
Video Vault poopers.
Pooping in the video vault. I like it.
Woo! Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. Check us out on Patreon. And also, we have launched our website as well. So if you're looking to hire us to make a commercial or anything,
we'll work for you.
Yeah, you can check out our website. It's trumanpictures.com.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great. I love how clean it is.
It looks good.
Nothing fancy about it, just trumanpictures.com.
Oh, yeah.
So we have just launched our Patreon and our website. So go check those out. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Heck yeah.
We have been your hosts,
Brandon
and Skyler. Thank you guys for coming into
the Video Vault.